Kendall Ammerman, spokesperson for KA News.
Alessia Matera, live reporter in the field.
Welcome to KA News with the latest news from all over the world. I am Kendall Ammerman here with my partner in crime, Alessia Matera.
Good day. Thanks, Kendall. Today's top stories are Ariana Grande and Big Sean have an upsetting breakup.
No.
Oh, forget that! I've just gotten some outrageous news from my coworkers about the Long March in China. In October 1933, the Nationalists launched a fifth campaign against the Communists. The Nationalists had about 700,000 men to build a cement blockhouse around Communist troops. About 1 million people died there after the attack of the Communists. After the attack, the Communists tried positional warfare tactics against the bigger Nationalist forces, and they were getting crushed by them. By mid-1934, the Red Army was defeated. Here's to Kendall for the overview of the Long March.
Oh, thanks, Alessia. The Long March is a bunch of Chinese communists on a 6,000-mile journey of retreat going through provinces such as Hunan, Guangxi, Guizhou, Yunnan, Sichuan, and Shaanxi. Sorry for my pronunciation. I'm American. Frustrated and outraged, the communists suffered from a huge loss against the Nationalists in the Chinese Civil War, leading to the glorified retreat called the Long March. There was an unclear leader of this march for the first part of the march, but in the first 3 months the retreat was mainly under the leadership of Zhu Dai and Zhu Enlai. Along the retreat, the communist was subjected to multiple bombardments and attacks from the National Force. Here's Alessia live at the march.
You're on!
Oh, hi, Kendall. Sorry, I'm here right now at the Long March with the Chinese Communists crossing the 18th mountain range. They've already passed, but they're nearing the end of their journey. They are currently arriving at the Shaanxi today on October 30, 1835, with about 8,000 survivors, some dying on the way and others just abandoning at the trip. We've recently just found a woman behind this stone wall. She's one of the person who has abandoned this endeavor. We're gonna go interview her now. Excuse me! We're from KA News! Excuse me! I'm from KA News. I hear you're from the Long March. Can we please interview you? Can we interview you? We just have to ask you a couple questions.
Sure. Excuse me, who was that?
Oh, that's just my cameraman. He's from KA News, just like me. You can just sit right there. We have just found this woman behind the stones over there near the mountain. She's from the Long March, but we're not sure her name yet.
My name is Chun-Ying.
Oh, okay, thank you, Chun-Ying. She was pondering around the rice paddy farms, and we seem to find recent studies that she was in the Long March. Can you answer a couple questions about the Long March?
Well, I abandoned the Chinese communists because they didn't treat us well. They starved us. I didn't get to eat very much. There was starvation and bombs being set off every single day. There was daily fights with the nationalists because they didn't want us to get to victory. They crossed off all the rivers so we couldn't make it there. And there's extremely harsh weather conditions because most of us were on top of the mountaintops with snow caps. I did not like it with them. The conditions were awful. That is why I abandoned them. Oh my God, can I get up now?
Yeah. We are thankful for Chun-Ying to have us interview her to tell us about the harsh conditions. Here's to Kendall with the significance of
The significance of this march has a big impact on the CCP, with Mao Zedong securing his leadership. Later on, under threat of the Nationalists, the Chinese Communists ignored Soviet advisors and used their own way of fighting. Later on, the Communists had gained local peasant support along the route. An example of the Nationalists always stopping Communists from their rebellion is when they tried crossing Haijiang River, which took a week for them to actually pass through, which cost them 500,000 men. Later on, the Mao Zedong decided to break his men into different groups to confuse the enemy. That changed the destination to Shenxi province, where the communists hoped to fight the Japanese to earn respect for China's masses. Hard work and determination really led the Chinese to success, where thousands of young Chinese enlisted into the Red Army. Then, after fighting the Japanese for a decade, the Chinese Civil War continued in 1945. 4 years later, they defeated the Nationalists, and Mao Zedong proclaimed the People's Republic of China, serving as the chairman until his death in 1976. Now on to a video. You can stop it now.
This video shows live footage of the communists during the Long March in China rebelling against the Nationalists. The Long March started on October 16, 1934 in provinces in southeast China. The march ended October 20th, 1935, so it lasted around a year. The distance traveled by the Communists was around 3,000 to 8,000 miles.
Thank you for watching KA News.
We'll be on again tomorrow at 6.